Well, it is mid-September, and that means one thing. The Barbie movie's out, and I am ready to see it.
What did you say?
Yeah, I'm more of an Oppenheimer guy. But anyways, fortunately, that's not the only big news for mid-September for us this year. Apple also unveiled the iPhone 15. It's giving me some serious, hey, buy me vibes. But what is it that makes the iPhone 15 a worthy upgrade contender? And what other exciting news happened this week in the photography industry? Well, hell, let's quit the chit chat and dive into today's episode of Did You Know Skunks Can Do a Handstand? Well, from the I never thought I'd say this category, Polaroid has just released a high-end instant camera called i2. Now, high-end instant, you ask? Yeah, exactly. At $600, this is not exactly your grandpa's Polaroid. So what do you get for all that green stuff? Well, the i2 boasts built-in manual controls, Polaroid's sharpest lens to date, and an autofocus system that is driven by LiDAR, which stands for light detection and ranging. Now, of these features, Polaroid says the new autofocus lens is the most important. It's a 3-element 98mm, now of course that's 38mm equivalent, f8 lens that can focus from 1.3 feet to infinity. Now, this range is achieved because of the lens stepping motor. Now, the camera is compatible with 3 types of film. You have the I-type, 600, and SX70. Now, this is the first time Polaroid has made a camera that uses integral film and has manual controls. Now, the impact resistance plastic body has a premium coating to enhance the durability. Now, the camera features a large optical viewfinder as well, 6 shooting modes, and a built-in strobe that reaches up to 8 feet. Heck, there's even a 2.5mm jack, so you can add an external flash on this thing. But is anybody gonna buy it? That is the big question in the room. $600 for a Polaroid is a big investment, but with the enormous, when we think about it, the popularity of film photography and the nostalgia of using a Polaroid camera, my guess is that the i2 is going to be a big hit. And actually what I will do is I will put a link in the description if you want to be one of the first to pick up one of these things. Now, it's been 6 years since Panasonic released the G9, so hey, let's be real, an update is long overdue. Well, that update has finally arrived in the form of a G9 II. And unlike so many cameras these days that cater to photographers and videographers, the G9 II is aimed squarely at still photographers. Now, it features a 25.2 megapixel micro four thirds sensor that offers a native ISO range from 100 to 25,600 for still images and 100 to 12,800 for most video situations. Now, additionally, the G9 II features an updated processor that allows the camera to do burst shooting with continuous autofocus at up to 60 frames per second with the electronic shutter. Now, if you fix the focus, the camera can go even faster, actually up to 70 frames per second. Now, the camera also has a mechanical shutter as well, which enables up to 14 frames per second. Now, it does pre-burst recording, which will record 1.5 seconds of images before you fully press the shutter button. So in other words, this camera will be a dream for sports and wildlife photographers. Now, with lightning fast speeds like this one, you might wonder how many images the G9 II can accommodate in one single burst. Now, Panasonic said the camera can record up to 200 RAW and JPEG image files when shooting at full 60 to 75 frames per second speed. Now, when using the mechanical shutter, the camera can accommodate 160 to 200 images depending upon the file type. Now, other features include Phase Detect autofocus, a first for the Lumix G series, 10-bit 5.8K video in-body image stabilization, and a $3.68 million OLED electronic viewfinder. Now, the G9 II won't hit the store shelves until November, so a little bit, not too far. And when it does, it will be priced right around $1,900. Now, that really is not a bad price to pay considering all the imaging and video chops that this camera brings to the table. Now, again, there's going to be a link in the description if you want to pre-order one of these cameras today. Now, Man, that was a mouthful. Look, before we get to the next part of the big news, I'd like to hit the pause button for a moment and thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. So if you find this video helpful, engaging, entertaining, or a combination of thereof, give that like button down below a little love. Your support, of course, is always appreciated. Now, let's talk about that new thing that Apple announced. Well, the iPhone 15 has been officially announced, and as it turns out, many of the rumors that we've discussed in previous episodes were spot on. Now, there are 4 models, the 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, and the 15 Pro Max. Now, the 15 and the 15 Plus inherit the dynamic island from the higher-end iPhone 14 models. Now, they also get the Super Retina XDR display. Now, the 15 gets a 6.1-inch screen, while the 15 Plus is going to get the 6.7-inch screen. Now, additionally, the 2 lower-end models get the A16 processor, the U2 chip, and all 4 models now have the USB-C connection rather than that proprietary Lightning port that was introduced back in 2012. Now, the biggest upgrade for the 15 and the 15 Plus is the 48 megapixel quad pixel main camera that features 26 millimeter f1.6 lens, sensor shift optical image stabilization, and a 2x optical zoom. Now, the camera is joined by a 12 megapixel 13 millimeter camera with a f2.8 aperture. Now, the major updates were reserved for the 15 Pro and the Pro Max models, though both models now feature an all-new A17 processor, titanium casting, thinner bezels, and a mute switch that has been replaced with an action button like the one on the Apple Watch Ultra. Now, both high-end models also feature a 48 megapixel main camera with a 24 millimeter f1.78 lens that features 100% focus pixel optical image stabilization. Now, on the 15 Pro, the main camera is complemented by a 48 millimeter f1.78 telephoto lens with a 2x zoom, a 77 millimeter f2.8 telephoto with a 3x zoom, and a 13 millimeter f2.2 ultra-wide lens, both of which are capable of 12 megapixel images. Now, the Pro Max gets an upgrade to a 5x 120 millimeter f2.8 telephoto lens that features 3D sensor shift optical image stabilization. The Pro Max is also capable of 25x zoom compared to the 15x for the Pro model. Now, other goodies include night mode time-lapse, true tone flash, smart HDR5, and ProRes video up to 60 frames per second. Now, there are way too many new and improved features, far too many to discuss in this little video. So if you want more details, check out the description below for a link over to the iPhone 15 page. Now, with that, my work here is done. And as I said earlier, I really appreciate you tuning in today. And I hope you tune in for the next edition of Photography Time. Now, the only thing left for me to do is spend some quality time with my iPhone before I kick it to the curb and get a new one.